That threw me off then. I was like, what is happening? Oh, you're doing guns.
I can pull it off.
I think
feel
you have to
proper in the
be.
mood because of the Nerf wars that we had on Sunday. It was so cool.
It was. Well, no, it wasn't cool. I was hid behind a chair with goggles on.
Lucas wasn't.
No.
He was like a, I don't know,
demon in the garden.
Soldier or something. Yes, that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, yes.
I'll have to do that again. Nerf wars.
Nerf wars. That's what we spend our weekends doing. And we had a water fight on the Saturday and then Nerf wars on the Sunday. So, yeah it
definitely
was,
need something in this heat. Let's run around and chase each other with water pistols and Nerf guns.
Nerf guns, yeah. It was a very relaxing weekend, as you can tell. Always is.
We had a boy.
Yeah.
That's all we needed.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Just needed encouragement. Hope you're doing well. Let us know. Where are you watching us? Are you watching us on YouTube? Are you watching us on LinkedIn? I'd love to see. We have been publishing for around a week now. We just started the Bingeability Show. And up until today, we've only been on YouTube. So now we're on LinkedIn. So hopefully this shows up okay. And hopefully you can leave comments. Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, happy to see you here. Thanks again for all your support and great to see you in Newcastle. Was it last week? A couple of weeks ago? Time's going so fast.
Yeah, time has gone fast. It's like two weeks ago now from Atomicon.
2 weeks. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Megan. Hey. Yep. LinkedIn. Okay. It shows you. Perfect. Nice.
Shows you who's on LinkedIn, who's on YouTube.
It does. Hey, Megan.
Brilliant.
So we're using StreamYard for this. So yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we have a great show for you today.
Yeah.
Really interesting insights. We've found some more research that we want to share with you. It's going to be a packed show, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's good actually because it very much links to LinkedIn as well. So we've got some really good updates about LinkedIn. And doing video on LinkedIn as well. So we'll go straight into it. We've looked at this report from Metricool, who have very cool reports. They did a LinkedIn study earlier on this year in April, end of April, looking at how we're using LinkedIn to create content and how it's performing. The first thing I think the major thing that we kind of noticed was that the first kind of thing that we can pull from it really is that questions get really, really good engagement. So if you actually ask someone in a LinkedIn post a question at the end of that particular LinkedIn post, you are 77% more likely to get a comment, which is absolutely insane. And I think this was the same as what we discovered last time, wasn't it, on Instagram? The same thing. If you ask someone to comment or ask someone to save it or send it on to a friend, you just have to give them that direction and then they'll actually do it. But without that direction, they don't do it. So it was quite crazy that statistic that 77% of posts with a question at the end actually get more comments.
Yeah, absolutely. And even more, I think one of the research reports we were looking at said that when you ask someone to comment, it's actually easier than getting them to say, can you like this post? There's something about commenting that feels more natural than asking somebody to like or share, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because it does genuinely feel like you want to get a conversation started.
Yeah. It was interesting that 80% of people who ask for a comment in particular, so there's question and then there's comment, 80% of people that ask for comment, it increases the comments by 80%, which is crazy to me.
And it's something that we integrate within our clients' videos. Whenever we post on LinkedIn, we usually record for a YouTube audience, but at the end of the video, sometimes what we'll do when we're out doing video shoots is we'll say, let us know which one of these 5 things are you going to focus on next. Let me know in the comments below. And that does so much for engagement. And when we repurpose that content on places like LinkedIn, it does genuinely drive a lot of engagement. Obviously, we always want the call to action to download this free thing or to register for the upcoming web class. But it just goes to show that people need reminding. People definitely need reminding to leave a comment, go to this link, do this next thing. And sometimes we forget, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And then another major thing that people ask us all the time is does LinkedIn penalize you for sharing links? And it mainly doesn't. On your company page, it actually increases the amount of engagement that you'll have on the actual post, which is pretty impressive. You get more impressions and more interactions. If you are on a personal profile, it does reduce it slightly. In our experience, we haven't found that for our clients and for us. We have always put a call to action with a link on a LinkedIn post, and we pretty much do that on every single LinkedIn post that we have. It's far better to kind of get those leads and sales off the back of it than worry about the impact that it'll have on impressions. If it's a good post, then it's a good post and it'll still get out there, I think.
Yeah, and there's some huge LinkedIn experts that are always driving people to the next step. People like Chris Donnelly, for instance, who always drive people from the LinkedIn post to their newsletter. Tons of other people as well. And we do it for our clients and we do it for ourselves as well. If you follow us on LinkedIn, you'll notice that we include links as much as we possibly can, because you're still going to get value from the post. The important thing is that there's always value there. And I think that's what people get wrong. They're like, oh, I'm not just going to post and say, oh, broadcast the latest thing that we want to promote. I'm not trying to get someone to buy something off the back of LinkedIn. We're trying to say, here's another piece of content or some more value that you're going to get if you found this helpful.
It's a really good point, actually, because what we found was with particularly with when we manage our clients' LinkedIn, is if they say, for example, have a webinar coming up and they write a post, say, I've got a webinar coming up, yada, 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 this is what it's about, here's a link. And then they have a post that's just value led. And then at the end, it says, oh, FYI, I've got a webinar coming up next week. That latter post performs better, which is really strange, because you think that a post dedicated to talking about the very thing that you're trying to promote would perform better. But actually, it's here's some value. Oh, by the way, I've got this thing coming up, and that works incredibly well. And we've kind of compared the two, haven't we? And it works.
It's called the Everyday CTA, and it means that you can get away with sharing value 7 days a week, sometimes more. If you, I say more days, there's more posts on days. So sometimes twice a day, you see people posting on LinkedIn, and you always are allowed to share a link, especially if most of it, 70-80% of it, is pure value or story driven. Or, maybe you've won an award, or maybe you're patting yourself or your team on the back. It doesn't matter. At the end of the post, you can have a call to action. This is why we call it the Everyday CTA, because you get to provide value, show up consistently. And then at the bottom, you have a footer and it says, FYI, if you want to register for my upcoming web class or webinar or sign up to my quiz, then click this link and it's super helpful. Nobody's going to complain when you give them more content to consume along the same lines. So people are afraid of it because it's been frowned upon in the past. But right now we're in this nice window of time, this pocket of time with LinkedIn, where we're able to share links, and we're not seeing him get hidden. We're not seeing our posts not get views. We're just seeing the engaging content get views, regardless of if it's got a link or not. I would much prefer to have a regular flow of leads coming in and maybe even get fewer impressions marginally, rather than just get the most reach and then have no opportunity to get them from LinkedIn back to my landing page or free giveaway.
Yeah. So true. And another really good thing that they found as well was that video was actually not performing very well on LinkedIn.
This is interesting.
I know it's really interesting, because we haven't found it at all, which is really interesting from our point of view, because obviously we love video. But what performs the best on LinkedIn, according to this study, is carousels and then multi-images after that. And then image and video is around about the same in how it performs. And then text-based is the lowest in terms of engagement and impressions. And I think there's probably a couple of explanations for this, because we've not found this with ourselves, with our clients, with people in our community either. They find that the video performs really well. I think it's mainly because last year LinkedIn went a bit crackers with video. So I think overall 40% of personal posts that come from personal profiles are actually videos, which is a huge amount. And it's really, really increased. But because LinkedIn essentially said, you know, we're gonna push video a lot more, people just kind of flooded the platform with video. And I noticed a lot of video that was more suitable for Instagram, more that like kind of trending video that, you know, you would find on Instagram, and more kind of the video that you would have where you have trending audio and then you have a sort of really good like title with it or some text on it. That works really well on Instagram, but I kept seeing that on LinkedIn as well. And it's more that kind of entertaining, trending video that I kept seeing on LinkedIn. And I think people flooded the platform with the wrong type of video.
Yeah. And I also find that when you repurpose content from places like Instagram and TikTok, you know that those platforms don't like it. And sometimes they even watermark it to say, you know, if this is downloaded from Instagram or TikTok, then we're going to show the watermark on it, which seems so ludicrous, really. It's your content at the end of the day. But more than anything, that's because I think the reason that a large proportion of people are not seeing the results with video is because it's getting trapped in the short form feed. So LinkedIn have gone and created a short form feed that allow you to swipe up and down and see the next short form video. But what we try to do when it comes to video is put on as many landscape longer videos on LinkedIn on the platform rather than rather than more short form, because I don't like getting trapped in that short form feed where you're competing and your hook's got to be like on point. I'd rather treat LinkedIn more like YouTube and show up once, twice a week if possible, and have a nice long form video where someone can sit, have a coffee, maybe watch something with their lunch, actually educate them and give them 5-10 minute videos, because those get treated the same as a carousel, as a text-based post on LinkedIn. Those don't get grouped into the short form feed for a 60-second video, vertical video, like it does on TikTok or Instagram Reels. So on this kind of video, you get to educate, inform, yes, a little bit of entertainment, but the most important thing is you can have a direct link from that video to where you want them to send them to next. So that means if you do have a free offer, you're giving away a free copy of your book, you're giving away 66 viral hooks like what we have. If you're asking somebody to take a quiz or download a checklist, if you have a long form video, 5-10 minutes, and when I say long, I don't mean too long, I mean 5-10 15 minutes, then you can have a normal text-based post within that. And we have a formula for this that works really well. Along with the landscape video, the normal YouTube frame, 16:9, and then you can have a direct link as well. And it just works remarkably well. We drive a hell of a lot of leads for our clients' social media accounts just off the back of that long, in-depth text post alongside a video, alongside a link.
Yeah. And I think this is what the study misses out. It doesn't obviously go in depth on what kind of video actually performs well or not so well on LinkedIn. But what we found is, long form performs a heck of a lot better. And, you know, for the reasons that Martin's given really there. And the separation of those two things isn't included in that study, but it would be interesting to look at how those perform, because certainly from our clients and from us, long form does really well. People are on LinkedIn to learn more. They're on Instagram or TikTok to be entertained. So if you are producing just basic entertaining video for LinkedIn, it's not going to perform. If you're producing valuable video for LinkedIn, it's going to perform a lot better. And I think that's what the differentiation will be.
And the other thing as well is a lot of people are on LinkedIn anyway when they're working. So if you have kind of like corporate clients, or you want to attract corporate people that work in corporate environments, they're not going to be scrolling through Instagram in the middle of the workday or TikTok, but they will be on LinkedIn. Yeah, maybe secretly. But if your boss walks past and they see you scrolling through TikTok, then you might have a bit of a problem. Whereas some of these people Some of our biggest clients have come off the back of employees that work for bigger companies that have seen us and consumed our content. And these people are actively on LinkedIn all day, every day, because it's a good lead generation and it's work mode rather than entertainment mode. So your ideal clients that have money are on LinkedIn, or at least the people that they work for are. And when they're on LinkedIn and they're consuming educational content, then great, you can be that source of information, entertainment, and education as well. Just so happens to be our number one lead generation technique is actually LinkedIn, and specifically video, because it drives a hell of a lot of warm traffic. And the impressions, this is the interesting, because Ryan's just mentioned this in the comments, impressions are much less important than engagement, comments, profile views on LinkedIn. Absolutely. And Lyndsay mentioned before that when you take a LinkedIn post, whether it's alongside a video or maybe just a text or image post, and you say, listen, I'm hosting this event, and you go ultra direct, this isn't sort of the 70-30, this is like 100%. I'm hosting a web class, I'm hosting a workshop, click the link below. That's not going to get much engagement. That's not going to get many impressions, but it's actually a great way to get people to your lead magnet, because people won't comment and engage and you won't get tons of impressions, but it's still a very effective way to get leads from LinkedIn over to your platform as well. It's not always the case that impressions and a large amount of impressions turn into leads. So there is that nuance there as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I know some people have asked me this before. Does that mean then that you need to create video for multiple different platforms, which would be an absolute pain in the ass? For us and for our clients, we don't. So we create video with YouTube in mind and LinkedIn in mind. So that's what we create video for. We then repurpose that content to Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. So it's suitable for those platforms. It does incredibly well on those platforms. What I found is harder is if you're creating videos specifically for Instagram and you're thinking what's trending this week, what trending music and audio am I using this week, what all those kind of things, and you're creating videos specifically for that platform, then repurposing that to LinkedIn or to YouTube is quite difficult. It's quite difficult to do it that way around. So that's the way around that we do it with our clients, and with the most of them being kind of a B2B business, it kind of works in that fashion.
Yeah. And honestly, I think the way to go around video specifically, and Natalie said that in the comments here, you're going to try video again on LinkedIn. It's all about what your audience come to expect. And if they know that they're going to get a video from you once a week, as well as some text posts, as well as some comments, then they learn to expect it. So there is a certain amount that we do with our clients where it's, okay, on Monday, we do this. On Tuesday, we do that. We generally post at the same time or similar time of day, so people learn to expect it. And obviously, commenting on other people's posts is going to mean that they're going to comment on yours. It's kind of that reciprocity that happens when you engage, they engage with you. But I think generally, impressions are down on LinkedIn globally. But we've not noticed a reduction in the amount of leads coming through. So what that tells us is that even if people aren't engaging, even if the impressions are huge, doesn't necessarily mean, or even if they're low, because we are seeing low impressions at the moment, it doesn't necessarily impact the number of leads coming in. The people who need your content will probably see your content. Not always, we know what these platforms are like, but it's working. It's still working really, really well. And even though it's not a video platform, LinkedIn is still probably the number one way for us to get leads.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned something really important there before, is that the content type on LinkedIn, we do mix up quite a lot. So it is good to have video. It's also good to have carousels. It's also good to have images and text, and it's sort of mixed up so people don't kind of get, people get very used to seeing a particular content type, and once they start to get used to it, they start to kind of not see it anymore. That's why for a lot of our creatives, when we create the designs of, say, carousels or content, we have to refresh that all the time, because once people start getting used to it, they get a bit bored of it. So if you're doing the same type of content every day on LinkedIn, I'd probably advise against that. I'd say mix it up as much as you can. So video and carousel, or video text, video image, whatever it might be. Just mix it up.
Get some selfies in there.
Get some selfies in there. Just mix it up a little, so your audience doesn't get fatigued with seeing the same kind of format over and over again from you. That is something that it does really help.
Absolutely.
And then finally, I think it's good to keep in mind that every platform is different in terms of growth. So we run a challenge, and sometimes people go on TikTok. So we do a daily challenge where someone has to produce a video every single day, and they'll do it on TikTok and they'll see massive growth. And then someone else will do it on YouTube, and they'll struggle a little bit more for growth. It'll be slower. Every platform is different in how quickly you can grow. So TikTok here is the fastest way that you can grow. However, that doesn't mean it's going to give you more leads and sales. In fact, we found the opposite. So we found that on TikTok, we get the most views and the least sales. And on YouTube, we get fewer views, more sales. It's just the way that it kind of works, I think, because of the type of audience that are on there. But Instagram is second, and then LinkedIn is around about in the middle. I was really surprised by Facebook, actually, which was with YouTube on, and how difficult it is to grow. And then after that, it's X and Pinterest. But yeah, so you have to come at this kind of realistically, depending on what platform you're using as well. So TikTok, you want to see like quite big growth quickly. YouTube, it's a longer process.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of this comes down to the platform that you focus on the most. But just from a technical point of view, whenever we've tried to include links, because we don't like the idea of producing tons of video content and tons of content in general without there being a goal. And the goal for most business owners is leads and sales. So when we look at certain influencers who talk about this is the best way to grow on YouTube and this is the best way to grow on TikTok, a lot of it is us judging this based on how can we turn that viewer or those viewers or that audience into a lead and a sale. So our perspective is different from people who just want to grow a huge audience on TikTok. But LinkedIn has been fantastic for us. YouTube's been fantastic for us. Instagram's been fantastic. Specific parts of Instagram, like stories, is a great way to get links and link clicks over, along with ManyChat if you're posting a reel. Although sometimes those leads don't always come through because of the different folders you've got. Whereas Facebook has always been an absolute nightmare without paid, and TikTok's always been an absolute nightmare without paid as well. Those platforms, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram, are the main platforms that we're finding are great for nurturing an audience continuously. And then when you have something to promote, it's great to drive them over to that landing page, to that lead magnet, providing, it's not just the only thing that you promote. You've got to provide a lot of value as well. But every single time we've posted on Facebook with a link, it gets no views. Every time we try to, overly convert someone from TikTok, it doesn't work. So we like to mess around and to prod, to kind of poke the bear a little bit to see what works. The one big thing that changed on YouTube back at the end of last year, I noticed it, is that when you have an external link inside of the description on YouTube, you used to be able to just click it and it would redirect you. Now it's got this blocker page that says, are you sure you want to leave YouTube? Now, I don't know. We've not seen that much in terms of a decrease in the number of leads coming. But that's pretty annoying that YouTube have, for the longest time, been a great platform for us to put out video and include a link to a free resource or a webinar or book a call or one-to-one call. But then they went and put up this annoying little like gated page. Yeah. It's like, let's just stay on YouTube, shall we? We know you want to. And you're like, oh, okay.
We've not seen a massive decrease.
We haven't, but it's just something to be aware of, and that's why you can't rely on one platform.
No, you can't rely on one platform.
Add that one thing, and it can have potentially detrimental impact on your business.
But what you were talking about today, on LinkedIn as well, another kind of struggle that people have, particularly entrepreneurs, is that if you have like integrity and when you create content, what performs really well on things like TikTok or even Instagram is that black and white, polarizing, or this is definitely going to happen if you do this, or you just need to do one thing and you're going to get to 9 figures, and it's working in definites and absolutes. And we know as entrepreneurs and experts that there's a lot of nuance and gray area to a conversation. So I think as well, it's always trying to teach people that, yes, you want views, but at what cost? Like the people that are more polarizing and more controversial and say these kind of things typically won't see the leads and sales because they're not usually selling something apart from views. They get sponsorship, they get ad revenue, whatever it might be. So views is not something that we should have in mind as our big goal. It should be leads and sales. And we track every single link in every single post that we put out, every single YouTube video, every single Instagram post, every story, every LinkedIn post, every single thing is tracked with a link. And we can see exactly how it performs, and leads and sales are increasing, even if views are going down. So just always keep that in mind, that you won't sometimes get views unless you act that way, but views isn't the main thing that you need. It's leads and sales.
Absolutely. Ryan's just asked a great question. Will YouTube's approach, do you want to leave YouTube, see you embed links in the content itself, like QR codes? Potentially. They do work, but more than anything, the way I see this is if you've created something of value and you truly believe that the free giveaway or the free thing that you're giving away is extra special, then it's going to come across in the content, and you're going to pause the video maybe halfway through and you're going to say, I'm really excited. I've just created this brand new document of the best possible hooks or the best possible, whatever it is that you're giving away. I'd really love you to check it out. There's a link in the description, or you can scan this QR code, whatever it is. As long as you are showing the passion for it and you are showing people that you're convinced that this is the next best thing for them, they're going to find it whatever happens. And I think the issue is that over the past 10, 15 years, people have been creating like really simple lead magnets, but you can't get away with that anymore anyway. So providing that you focus on creating high value lead magnets, I think people will eventually get it anyway. Even if, they have to go to your bio and they have to click the link, you can still tell people to do that. It's not great for lazy people that just like, well, I'm not that interested anyway, I'm not going to find it. But are those people realistically going to buy from you anyway? So I think if you've created something of value, talk about it, tell people about it. It's the next best thing after this piece of content you're consuming. This is why we've spent time putting the 66 viral hooks together so that we can give it away if somebody's watching this. There's a link below and you can click it and then you're going to get that pop up. But if you really want it, you're just going to say, no, I really want it. And you're not going to pay any attention at the little gated page. I
think you've got to think to yourself, how many times a week are you blown away by a piece of content, or even a month? And it's very few times for me. I have to go and really search for kind of places on YouTube. There was a video that I just watched recently that was fantastic, with a copywriter, and it was so, so good. And then I just went down the rabbit hole of learning everything about him and wanting to find out how I could maybe work with him or buy something from him or whatever it might be. But I think if you put out exceptional content, people will just find their way to you. If you can make that easier for them by giving them a very clear path, that's the best thing. But the first place is it has to be, really good content that makes them learn something new. If they're learning something new, they're getting that dopamine hit, they recognize that you're an expert, then they can go from there. And they will find a place.
Then want to binge your content.
Exactly. Leads nicely into binge.
It does. And it brings us right to time. So thanks so much for being here. We have a brand new hook of the day. If you don't know, if this is the first time you're watching us, we give you one new hook at the end of every single episode. And Lyndsay's going to walk us through today's hook because I did yesterday's.
Yes. So today's hook is a really, really good one because it's meant to make your audience feel a little bit uncomfortable. And it starts with, I hate to break it to you, but, and then you give them an uncomfortable truth.
Nice.
And the first phrase, I hate to break it to you, is a really good one. And you'll notice a very similar thing in the hooks that we give as examples. They have very sort of informal phraseology. It's something that you'd hear off a friend when they say, I hate to break it to you, but stop doing that. You know, whatever it might be, that sounds like it's coming from a friend. It doesn't sound like it's coming from a business owner. So you'll notice kind of a common theme with a lot of the hooks that we give actually have that friend part to it. Yeah. So I hate to break it to you, but nobody knows you exist. And if nobody knows you exist, then it doesn't matter how good you are, they're not going to be able to buy from you. Something like that, where you can then, you know, go into the video. But if you give someone a hard truth and you do it in a way that sounds like a friend, it works incredibly well, that kind of hook.
Yeah. And it's also a little bit of authority in there. There's a little bit of, not only do I know the answer, but I'm prepared to maybe call you out here because I've realized this thing. And I hate to break it to you, but you need to do this too. So there's a little bit of authority and credibility there as well, which makes it a great hook. And
as we say every single time, remember the emotion as well. Lead with emotion. So there's many different ways that you could actually say that to you. You could be like, look, I hate to break it to you, but, you know, it'd be like a bit angry about it. Or you could be like, look, I hate to break it to you. And it could be more intense or like, you know.
Tell she's done acting before.
that was like 6 years of drama school well spent. I will tell my dad, he'll be so pleased. But yeah, so you can actually bring different emotions to it, and the more kind of emotive you make it, if you go off the emotion, the better it is. The emotion that you bring to a hook actually is the thing that hooks people in. So if you're angry, that hooks people in. If you're kind of more exasperated, that hooks people in. So think about not just the words, but about the emotion behind the words as well.
Absolutely. And if you didn't already know, we are, let me just share my screen really quickly. And I want to bring this to your attention because we are doing something super exciting next week. Where is it? Perfect.
Live is fun, isn't it? The
anticipation building.
I know, the anticipation building.
So on Monday, we are hosting our 3rd video bootcamp of the year, which is so much fun. If you have a goal for 2026 to become more consistent with your videos, then join our video bootcamp. We are hosting a 4-week video bootcamp that gives you these hooks and structures every single day, or at least 5 days a week.
But with the full script along with it.
Exactly. Yeah. We hold you accountable, and this is the main thing. You know, if you've ever wanted to see a personal trainer because you want someone to hold you to account, then this is the kind of thing that we wanted to do. You get the daily hooks and the prompts, and you get personal feedback. So once a week for 2 hours every Wednesday, 1 session in the morning, 1 session in the afternoon, we're giving people feedback on their videos. We're watching them. We're giving you feedback on the hook, the structure, the opening, you know, how you deliver your message. And we're going to review up to 25 videos every single week. And you'll also get access to Vidonary as well, which is our tool to help you plan, record, edit, and publish. But on Monday specifically is the start of the challenge. So if you want to maximize your chances of seeing results with video, then check out the bootcamp. That's vidonary.com. And I'll share a link in the description once this is finished recording, if we haven't already got that.
So you're practicing what you preach now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were saying before. There you go. There's a call to action in a video.
Yes. It's amazing. And Nathalie's left a nice comment. You love the challenge. It keeps me on track with consistency, and I love to be inspired by other people's videos. That's the other thing, isn't it? Seeing everyone else's videos motivates you to want to publish more videos.
It does.
So yeah, amazing. So we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, and we'll have a brand new hook of the day and some more incredibly helpful news to share. So see you then.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.